Hello fans! Welcome back to the B&B Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the dramatic world of the bold and the beautiful to explore the upcoming storyline surrounding Steffy Forrester Finnegan, especially in light of Jacqueline McInnes Wood's real-life pregnancy with her fifth child. As the talented actress prepares for her maternity leave, the showrunners are faced with the challenge of crafting a compelling exit for Steffy that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. How will Steffy take her temporary leave of absence this time? With a character as central as Steffy, the possibilities are endless, ranging from heart-pounding danger to emotional family struggles. Let's unpack some thrilling scenarios, layered with new twists, intricate character motivations, and unforeseen consequences, while staying true to the core themes of drama and suspense that define this iconic soap opera. First, let's consider the looming threat posed by Luna Nozawa, a character whose obsession with control and revenge has taken a dark turn. Luna has made it abundantly clear that she views Steffy as a significant obstacle in her path, blaming her for everything that's gone wrong. Driven by a mix of desperation and delusion, Luna has already acquired a firearm, though her inexperience is evident. She needed Remy Price's guidance just to handle it properly. Imagine a tense confrontation where Luna, trembling with both fear and determination, corners Steffy in a secluded spot, perhaps at the Forrester mansion late at night. Her intention is clear, but her shaky hands betray her. Instead of a fatal shot, the bullet grazes Steffy, sending her tumbling down a flight of stairs in a dramatic fall. The result? A serious injury that lands Steffy in a medically induced coma at the local hospital, her fate hanging in the balance as doctors scramble to save her. This scenario not only provides a believable exit for Steffy, but also sets the stage for a multi-episode arc where Finn, her devoted husband, wrestles with guilt and grief, blaming himself for not seeing Luna's instability sooner. The hospital scenes could be laden with emotional weight, Finn holding Steffy's hand, whispering promises of their future together, while their children wonder why mommy isn't coming home. Beyond the immediate danger of Luna's attack, let's explore a secondary plotline that adds layers of complexity to Steffy's absence. Luna's fascination with Hayes Forrester Finnegan, Steffy's young son and Luna's half-brother, has grown increasingly unsettling. She's been subtly ingratiating herself with the boy, showering him with gifts like a handmade toy or a storybook with hidden meanings, all under the guise of being a caring sibling. What if Luna's plan isn't just to harm Steffy, but to abduct Hayes as a way to rebuild the family she feels she's lost? Picture this: Luna lures Hayes away during a family picnic at a local park, using a pretext of showing him a secret treehouse. When Steffy and Finn realize Hayes is missing, panic ensues. Steffy, despite her own injuries from the earlier altercation with Luna, pushes herself beyond her limits to search for her son, only to fall into a trap set by Luna in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Here, Steffy is held captive, unable to escape as Luna taunts her with Hayes' safety. This harrowing ordeal would give Steffy a heroic yet tragic exit, as she sacrifices her freedom to ensure Hayes is returned unharmed. The storyline could stretch over weeks, with Finn and the Forrester family launching a desperate search, unaware that Steffy is closer than they think, locked away in a place tied to Luna's past. Now, let's pivot to how Luna's actions ripple outward, affecting the broader canvas of characters in the bold and the beautiful. As Luna's schemes unravel, she inevitably makes a critical error, perhaps leaving behind a piece of evidence like a hairpin at the crime scene or a cryptic message on Steffy's phone that tips off the police. A city-wide manhunt begins, with Detective Sanchez leading the charge, determined to bring Luna to justice. But Luna, ever the survivor, slips through the cracks, seeking refuge in unlikely places. She might turn to Remy Price, her reluctant ally, who provides her with a burner phone and a fake ID, but warns her that he's out if things get too hot. In a shocking twist, Luna could also sneak into Bill Spencer's sprawling estate under the cover of night, hiding in the guest house where no one thinks to look. She watches from the shadows as Bill, unaware of her presence, discusses business deals that inadvertently give Luna new ideas for blackmail or leverage. Meanwhile, Sheila Carter-Sharp, always a wild card, might cross paths with Luna during this chaotic escape. Sheila, sensing an opportunity, could offer temporary aid, perhaps a hideout in an old cabin she knows, but only if Luna agrees to do her dirty work in return. These interactions would paint Luna as a fugitive on the run, desperate for allies, but unable to trust anyone fully, heightening the suspense of whether she be caught before Steffy is found. Turning back to Steffy, her off-screen journey during this maternity leave could take a less violent but equally dramatic turn. While the Luna and Hayes kidnapping plot brews tension, another storyline might emerge as a clever red herring. Steffy has been vocal about her desire to bring Daphne Rose back to Forrester Creations, believing her return could revitalize the company's designs with fresh energy. What if, instead of being trapped by Luna, Steffy decides to take a spontaneous business trip to Paris to personally convince Daphne? Over the phone, Daphne has been hesitant, citing personal reasons for her reluctancy: a messy divorce or a new romance she's not ready to leave behind. But Steffy, known for her tenacity, believes a face-to-face meeting could seal the deal. Envision Steffy boarding a private jet, her mind preoccupied with both business and family, only to encounter unexpected turbulence, both literal, as the plane hits a storm, and figurative, as Daphne reveals a secret connection to the Forrester family that complicates everything. This overseas arc could keep Steffy off-screen for the duration of Jacqueline's leave, with occasional video calls to Finn showing her in chic Parisian cafes, masking the deeper struggles of her mission. It would also give viewers a breather from the high-stakes Luna drama, balancing the show's tone with corporate intrigue and international glamour. Adding a final layer of emotional depth, let's imagine how Finn copes with Steffy's absence, whether she's in a coma, held captive, or halfway across the world. Finn, already burdened by his own complicated history with Luna, might spiral into a dark place, questioning every decision that led to this moment. Picture him sitting alone in their shared home, surrounded by reminders of Steffy, her favorite scarf draped over a chair, a photo album of their wedding day open on the coffee table. He could turn to Lee Finnegan, his mother, for support, leading to heartfelt scenes where Lee shares stories of her own struggles to remind Finn that love endures through hardship. Alternatively, Finn might throw himself into his work at the hospital, taking on extra shifts to distract himself, only to encounter a new patient whose mysterious ailment mirrors Steffy's condition, reigniting his hope and determination to bring her back. This personal journey for Finn would not only flesh out his character, but also keep Steffy's presence alive in the narrative, even when she's physically absent from the screen. As we wrap up this speculative deep dive, it's worth considering the legal and long-term ramifications of these events. If Luna is caught, or even if she evades capture for no, Steffy and Finn might pursue a restraining order to protect their family once and for all. Imagine the courtroom drama as Luna, possibly with Remy by her side, pleads her case, claiming she acted out of love for Hayes and a misguided need to belong. The judge's ruling could set the stage for Luna's next chapter, whether it's jail time, psychiatric evaluation, or a forced relocation out of state. For Steffy, returning after maternity leave could mean a triumphant awakening from a coma, a daring escape from captivity, or a successful deal with Daphne that reinvigorates Forrester Creations. Regardless of the path chosen, her comeback will undoubtedly be a turning point, with Jacqueline McInnes would bringing renewed energy to Steffy's resilience and strength. Next, we will delve into the heart-wrenching storyline of Liam Spencer's tragic fate on The Bold and the Beautiful, focusing on the complex layers of his character as he faces a terminal illness. As Liam battles a life-threatening tumor, fans are left reflecting on the duality of his actions, both the good he's contributed to the show over the years and the questionable choices that have defined his recent past. With this devastating diagnosis, we're compelled to ask, could Liam's erratic behavior, including his attempts to sabotage Steffy's marriage and his harsh treatment of Hope, be tied to his undisclosed medical condition? Let's explore this emotional roller coaster with fresh perspectives, newly imagined details, and deeper insights into the motivations behind Liam's journey, while speculating on what the future holds for his relationships during his final days. Let's start by revisiting Liam Spencer's tumultuous past, particularly the darker chapters that unfolded less than a year ago. During this period, Liam's actions as a husband left much to be desired, as he not only betrayed Hope Logan through infidelity, but also actively worked to undermine Steffy Forrester Finnegan's marriage to Dr. John Finn Finnegan. Picture a series of clandestine meetings at a dimly lit cafe on the edge of Los Angeles, where Liam, cloaked in secrecy, poured his heart out to Steffy, painting Finn as an unworthy partner while conveniently ignoring his own shortcomings. His words were laced with manipulation, urging Steffy to abandon her vows for a rekindled romance that he claimed was destiny. Viewers recoiled as Liam's desperation turned into obsession, with late-night phone calls and unannounced visits to the Forrester estate becoming a pattern. Now, With the revelation of his brain tumor, a new lens emerges. What if these toxic behaviors weren't entirely of his own volition? Perhaps the tumor, pressing against critical areas of his brain, altered his impulse control and clouded his judgment, turning the once charming Liam into a shadow of himself. This concept of a medical condition explaining away a character's misdeeds isn't new to the bold and the beautiful. The show has a storied history of weaving health crises into narratives to provide context for otherwise unforgivable actions, often softening the audience's judgment. Take Thomas Forrester, for instance, whose bizarre and obsessive behavior, including his unsettling fixation on a mannequin resembling Hope, was later attributed to a medical issue that skewed his perception of reality. Visualize the moment of revelation for Thomas, sitting in a sterile doctor's office as scans light up a screen, showing an anomaly that had hijacked his mind for months. The writers used this twist to pivot Thomas from villain to victim, allowing fans to reconsider their disdain. Similarly, Liam's current diagnosis evokes memories of other characters like Carolyn Spencer, whose hidden illness once explained bursts of irrational anger and secrecy. With Liam, the tumor might serve as a narrative device to absolve past sins, prompting us to wonder if his heart truly strayed, or if his brain betrayed him long before his actions did. Diving deeper into Liam's controversial romantic entanglements, let's re-examine his betrayal of Hope Logan and the subsequent fallout. Fans were stunned when Liam's infidelity came to light, followed by his audacious criticism of Hope for finding solace with Thomas Forrester. Imagine the scene, a heated argument in their once happy home, where Liam, red-faced and unapologetic, lashed out at Hope for moving on, calling her choices shameful while glossing over his own indiscretions. His behavior spiraled further as he set his sights on Steffy, weaving a web of deceit by showing up at her workplace with flowers and promises of a future free from Finn's complications. This was not the Liam we knew, loyal, if indecisive, romantic who once fought for love with sincerity. Now, knowing about the tumor, it's plausible that his harsh words and reckless pursuits were symptoms of a neurological storm brewing within. Medical research often links brain tumors to personality shifts, sudden aggression, or impaired decision-making. Could Liam's tumor have amplified emotions he couldn't control, pushing him to act against his true feelings? This brings us to the burning question of Liam's heart. Who does he truly love as he faces the end? In his final days, confined to a couch in a quiet corner of the Spencer estate, with pain etched into every line of his face, Liam has time to reflect on his life's choices. Whispers among fans and subtle hints in recent episodes suggest the possibility of one last romantic reunion, but with whom? A steam revival with Steffy has been floated, envisioning tearful confessions by a hospital bedside where Steffy, moved by Liam's vulnerability, reminisces about their shared history under a sky of happier memories. However, an alternative theory points toward Hope as the true anchor of Liam's heart. Picture Liam, in a rare moment of clarity, scribbling a letter to Hope, ink smudged with tears, apologizing for the pain he caused and admitting that his soul never truly left her. The tumor may have muddled his actions, but his love for Hope might remain the constant he clings to. This scenario gains traction as we consider Hope's capacity for forgiveness. He once overlooked Thomas's disturbing mannequin fixation after understanding his mental state. Surely, she could extend the same grace to Liam upon learning his destructive behavior stemmed from a fatal illness. Expanding on this potential reconciliation, let's imagine the emotional landscape of a Lope reunion. Hope, initially hardened by betrayal, visits Liam after hearing of his diagnosis from a mutual friend, perhaps Brooke Logan, who urges her to see him one last time. The setting is poignant, Liam's room dimly lit by a single lamp, medical equipment beeping softly in the background as Hope hesitates at the door. Their conversation begins awkwardly, with apologies stumbling over old wounds, but as Liam explains the tumor's impact on his mind, Hope's walls crumble. She recalls their first dance at a Forrester gala, the laughter over spilled coffee on their first date, and the dreams they wove together. This could be the writer's chance to mend an iconic couple, giving fans closure by showing that love can outlast even the worst misunderstandings. Carter Walton, currently close to Hope, might feel the sting of this reunion, watching from afar as Hope prioritizes Liam's final moments over their budding connection, adding another layer of tension to the storyline. Lastly, let's speculate on the broader implications of Liam's storyline for the Bold and the Beautiful's narrative fabric. If the tumor is indeed the catalyst for Liam's downfall, both emotionally and physically, it opens a dialogue about accountability versus circumstance. Visualize a town hall-style discussion among the characters at Forrester Creations, where Steffy, Hope, and even Finn debate whether Liam's diagnosis excuses his past. Steffy might argue that pain doesn't justify harm, drawing from her own struggles, while Hope counters with compassion, citing medical evidence shared by Finn about brain tumors altering behavior. This debate could spill into public forums, with tabloids in the show's universe running headlines like Liam Spencer, victim, or villain. Meanwhile, Liam's father, Bill Spencer, might grapple with guilt for not noticing his son's decline sooner, perhaps funding a new hospital wing for neurological research in Liam's honor. These ripple effects would ensure Liam's story resonates beyond his screen time, challenging viewers to ponder the intersection of health and morality. Next, we will immerse ourselves in the captivating evolution of Brooke Logan's storyline on The Bold and the Beautiful, where a long-standing pattern of heartbreak and repetition seems to be breaking at last. For months, Brooke, portrayed with depth by Catherine Kelly Lang, has been caught in a loop, pleading with Ridge Forrester to return to her side with the same tired lines. However, this week marked a refreshing shift, as Brooke's world tilted on its axis with unexpected encounters and emotional revelations. From a surprising romantic moment to soul-searching conversations, Brooke's journey is now brimming with potential for new destinies. Let's explore this transformative chapter with expanded details, creative twists, and a deeper look into the emotional undercurrents driving Brooke's decisions. As Catherine Kelly Lang breathes fresh life into this iconic character, let's begin with the pivotal moment that snapped Brooke out of her monotonous yearning for Ridge. For weeks, viewers have watched Brooke linger in Eric's office at Forrester Creations, her voice heavy with desperation as she rehearsed the same pleas for Ridge's return. But this week, a delightful surprise awaited her. Imagine the scene: Brooke, clad in delicate, lace-trimmed lingerie, her heart fluttering with hope, arranges herself seductively near the desk, expecting Ridge to walk through the door. The air is thick with anticipation, a soft jazz tune playing from a nearby speaker she'd set up to set the mood. Instead, the door swings open to reveal Nick Marone, his rugged charm and unexpected presence catching her off guard. Catherine Kelly Lang masterfully captures Brooke's shock, her eyes widening before a radiant smile spreads across her face. Within moments, Brooke transforms from a forlorn lover into a woman rediscovering her vibrancy. Her laughter echoes through the room as Nick, with a roguish grin, steps closer, the chemistry between them electric. Lang infuses Brooke with a youthful, almost giddy energy, as if she's a teenager experiencing a first crush all over again, her posture loosening and her worries momentarily forgotten. This unexpected reunion takes an even more passionate turn, adding layers to Brooke's renewed spirit. As Nick sweeps Brooke off her feet in a spontaneous, fiery kiss, the camera lingers on her initial surprise, her hands hesitating before melting into his embrace. Picture the office bathed in the golden glow of late afternoon sun streaming through the blinds, papers scattering to the floor as their moment of passion overtakes the space once reserved for heartbreak. Lang plays Brooke with a schoolgirl-like innocence in the aftermath, her cheeks flushed as she catches her breath, a nervous giggle escaping her lips while smoothing her disheveled hair. Nick, standing tall with a mix of confidence and vulnerability, drops a bombshell. His real reason for returning to Los Angeles wasn't business, but to see her, to remind her of a love untainted by the constant tug-of-war with Ridge. Brooke's expression, as portrayed by Lang, shifts subtly, a flicker of longing in her eyes as she contemplates a life with someone who prioritizes her above all else. The idea of being someone's sole focus, without the shadow of shared histories or rivalries, plants a seed of doubt about her endless devotion to Ridge. The drama escalates when Ridge himself enters this charged scene, creating a whirlwind of conflicting emotions for Brooke. Visualize the precise moment. Brooke, still reeling from Nick's confession, adjusts her lingerie with trembling fingers, her heart racing as Ridge strides in. His face a storm of confusion and jealousy. Lang expertly navigates Brooke's swift return to the familiar role of the woman eager to appease Ridge, her voice softening as she gauges his mood. Yet, there's a subtle smirk playing on her lips, a quiet satisfaction at seeing Ridge unsettled by Nick's presence. It's as if Brooke, for the first time in ages, holds a card of power in their dynamic. The tension crackles as Ridge's eyes dart between Brooke and Nick, his jaw tightening while memories of past betrayals flash through his mind. Brooke senses his envy, and Lang imbues her with a layered reaction: part guilt for the situation, part thrill at being desired by two men. This encounter leaves Brooke at a crossroads, her mind racing with the possibility that her life could pivot in a direction she hadn't dared to dream of before. The following day introduces a fresh dynamic as Brooke faces scrutiny from her sister, Katie Logan, adding depth to her internal struggle. Envision a cozy yet tense setting in the Logan family living room, where Katie corners Brooke over a cup of steaming herbal tea, the morning light casting long shadows across the room. Katie, with a mix of concern and bluntness, probes Brooke about the encounter with Nick, her voice laced with worrying as she questions if Brooke is truly content chasing Ridge forever. Lang portrays Brooke in a defensive stance at first, her arms crossed and her tone sharp as she deflects Katie's insinuations. But when Katie suggests that Brooke deserves a man who will cherish her unequivocal lippers, someone like Nick, Brooke's facade cracks. Her eyes drop to the floor, her fingers tightening around the teacup as she absorbs the weight of Katie's words. For a fleeting moment, Brooke seems blindsided, her silence deafening as she wrestles with the idea of a new destiny. Though she eventually reaffirms her commitment to Ridge, declaring him her ultimate fate, there's a noticeable quiver in her voice, a hesitance that betrays her uncertainty. Lang's nuanced performance hints that the turmoil within Brooke's heart is no longer a monolith dedicated to Ridge, it's a battlefield of doubt and desire. By the end of the week, Brooke's interactions take on a passive-aggressive tone, especially with Taylor Hayes, reflecting her growing inner conflict. Picture a charged confrontation at Forrester Creations' design studio, where bolts of fabric and sketches surround them, a fitting metaphor for the unraveling threads of Brooke's life. Brooke, dressed in a tailored blazer, but with fatigue etched into her features, tosses veiled barbs at Taylor about loyalty and love, her words dripping with frustration over Ridge's divided affections. Yet, beneath the surface, Lang conveys a woman whose mind is elsewhere. Brooke's sharp retorts are almost mechanical as her gaze drifts to the window, lost in thought. Thanks to Nick's reappearance and Katie's piercing advice, Brooke is no longer just fighting for Ridge. She's questioning if the fight is worth it. The wheels in her head are visibly turning as Lang subtly shifts Brooke's demeanor from combative to contemplative mid-scene, her shoulders softening as if burdened by the weight of new possibilities. Could there be a life beyond the Forrester-Logan cycle, a chance to rewrite her story with someone who sees her as the only star in their sky? This shift in Brooke's narrative offers Katherine Kelly Lang a rich playground to showcase her versatility as an actress, and it promises exciting developments for fans. Imagine the potential storylines blossoming from this turning point, Brooke secretly meeting Nick at a quaint seaside diner outside of town. Exploring what a relationship without baggage could feel like, their conversations filled with laughter over shared dreams of sailing away from LA's drama. Or picture her confiding in Eric Forrester, seeking wisdom about love and legacies late one evening at the mansion, the fireplace casting a warm glow as Eric recounts his own romantic crossroads. These new interactions could pave the way for Brooke to redefine her destiny, stepping out of Ridge's shadow to claim a happiness that's uniquely hers. Lang's ability to pivot from despair to hope, from defense to vulnerability, ensures that Brooke's journey resonates deeply, keeping viewers glued to every nuanced expression and hesitant word. In wrapping up, Brooke Logan's latest arc on the bold and the beautiful signals a thrilling departure from her repetitive pleas, opening doors to uncharted emotional territory. With Nick Marone stirring old flames, Katie planting seeds of doubt, and Taylor as a constant reminder of Ridge's divided heart, Brooke stands at a crossroads that could redefine her future. Will she cling to the familiar comfort of Ridge, or dare to embrace a new chapter with Nick, or perhaps even someone entirely unexpected? Katherine Kelly Lang's captivating performance guarantees that whatever path Brooke chooses, it will be a journey worth watching. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Brooke should explore a fresh destiny, or is Ridge truly her endgame? Don't forget to subscribe to the B&B Spoilers channel for more updates and insights. Until next time, stay tuned for the next twist in Brooke's ever-evolving saga.